It's live, pal. Boy, do we have some news. Chill with the Monger comes with a live special presentation of Static Shock, the John Boyega Tales. You see, at C2E2, that is a convention that took place in Chicago. Josh Horowitz with the Happy Sad Confused podcast was speaking to this bruv, isn't it? And this chap says,
after Endgame, I was like, wow, how are they gonna, expand the universe after saving the universe? So I think that as just an audience,
let me not do that. This is a live stream. I'm gonna show you. I kind of prepped the wrong screen. I should have prepped this one. It's a live stream. I'm gonna put the full question up there. Go.
So again, I think the last time we spoke 2 or 3 years back, and I brought up the Marvel stuff, and you were pretty adamant, like, I love this stuff, but I'm not there right now. Like, where are you at right now? Or do you have a receptiveness right now to the Marvel thing?
Good question.
Did you guys see the Marvel announcement the other day?
All those director's chairs.
With Robert. And I think
Deflecting.
they're very busy.
There's room for you.
No, there ain't no room for me. I'll be real. I can't wait to watch it because I think with Marvel and everything, after Endgame, I was like, wow, how are they gonna, expand the universe after saving the universe? So I think that as just an audience watcher, I have sat down with Kevin Feige. I've been over to those guys, but I'm just gonna enjoy it for now because like there's a lot going on, but I'm looking forward to watching it.
I'm sure you're plugged in though. Like you've been fan casted for a lot of different
He's
roles.
persistent. You take the clue. John Boyega didn't want to touch that one, and then you go, but I'm sure you're plugged in, right?
Any ever like when you see artwork of yourself as a familiar character, that must be kind of cool.
No, it is cool, especially when the artists are really dope. Man, it's cool to see yourself emulated in any type of way. Even if it's the DC side too. I think that's cool. I mean, we got James Gunn coming out with that crazy. He has to start his whole new universe too. So
how do you know this stuff?
But more so for me is to develop the original films, Attack the Block 2 that I left behind, and to do that and then see what happens next. You never know.
Who's an actor or filmmaker?
Attack the Block 2, which is something they covered the segment right before. I hope you can see that the cursor showing Attack the Block is what they were talking about. And that was his independent movie, maybe his first movie. He played the character Moses, and he wants to further it. All right. Respect to that. And respect to Josh Horowitz for asking that question at the Chicago convention. This is where we pay attention to the words. He mentioned static. He mentioned DC. And that wasn't in the question. The question was a Marvel question. Now, this is what's important. The other week, earlier on Thursday, during our Pantheon stream, Brian, he's the guy on the bottom left. He's from the YouTube channel Spoiler Kings. He reported something to us.
Who's an actor?
Yeah, Spoiler Kings with the C2E2 this past was it April, and we got in line, got to talk to John Boyega. I had Static Shock on.
Oh, Virgil Hawkins.
Yep.
Oh, he had a cosplay.
So I had it on, and he was like, "Hey, what's up?" So I'm in line. He's pointing and speaking, and we get up there. He's like, "Hey, man, so you an older Static? So you like how James Gunn's going to run it? With the older level of Static Shock." And I was like, "What? Wait a minute, what'd you say?" And then he just kind of just kept on running with it and just going real quick. And I was like, "What do you mean?" And then I started thinking about it. Now, Milestone is who started off with Static Shock. So if you go into with a teenager, you have to pay Milestone because they created that character.
Yeah, this was a 2011 series from the New 52 Static Shock.
Exactly. Yeah. So once you go to New 52, he gets a little older. I have that one. Well, when you went to the DC Milestone 30th anniversary, when you look at that, he's even older then. Okay. So I don't know if he's.
Yeah. See that, guys?
And DC.
Let me actually pause that so I can add a little bit more context before I just change over to that. This is Spoiler King's Brian reporting to us that Static, Virgil Hawkins, is depicted in different ages as a youth, as a young adult, depending on who's in charge of writing and creating the comic books. Understood? That's what we got to pay attention to. And so, yes, I did superimpose this picture. It's from the 30th anniversary. That is a alternate cover. This is right in front of you right here. This is also a cover for the same comic book, Milestone's 30th anniversary. And in this comic book that Brian is about to bring up, I will show you they have the Batman Beyond, the Static Beyond storyline. And when you read Static Beyond, it was like an anthology series. Mike, I know you like those anthologies, right? He looked a whole lot older than what we're used to seeing in this published work of DC. Now, when Milestone was their own company where they owned their own stuff, they didn't have this. They had him always as a teenager, not like this, not this grown ass dude, muscles and things. Like, he's been depicted as an adult, not even a young adult. Just I don't know. When are you not a young adult anymore? 39. He looks like he is grown, and they have flashbacks to the past. And I think the past moments are from the TV show. Most certainly, that is a screenshot from the screen grab from the DC Static Shock television show. DC owns the rights to this. Continue, my good friend Brian. He's from the. I think Spoiler Kings are live right now. Actually, keep going.
Created that part. Okay.
Okay.
So now
there's Milestone that creates the character, but DC also owns a version of the Virgil Hawkins Static IP. And if they're gonna put one in a movie and they want to worry about rights, they'll use the DC version.
And it makes sense now. I don't have to share a Milestone who's still trying to make their way back, but they don't have to give them money now.
What happened when you asked him more questions?
So of course, I was like, well, so what are you talking about? So are you trying to tell me you're going to be Static Shock? He said, I'm not saying anything like that. That's not what I'm saying.
How else would he know that if he didn't audition, though?
Exactly. How else did you know unless you hear it? He's not telling me that, but obviously he had a conversation about it.
Ooh. You think Michael B. Jordan? Thank you, Brian, for that. And thanks for the information. Now, there's more conversation to be had on the Pantheon stream. You can go do that. But I like being original rather than relying on old content. I'm coming here with the new content. The old Static comic book from 1993 went out of business. Let's just have a trip down reality lane. The last comic was 45. And was it? Oh, my God, my mouse. I hope it doesn't. Okay, good. I'll just scroll down slowly. Not 100,000 units sold. Not 60,000 units sold. The Static Shock comic book didn't sell 30,000 units sold or 20,000 units sold or the 15 or the 13 or 12 or 11. The Static Shock comic sold so little that they had to get canceled because it only was the 264th highest selling comic book. Issue 45 was the final one. And it only sold 4,767 human beings bought a comic book, or the shops have ordered a comic book. That is the reality of sales. Please don't fight me when it comes to sales. They're the most important thing, okay? Mike says anthologies are the best. So that, unfortunately, is why the comic book came to an ending in January of 1997. There are other reasons too, but then like when the sales are so low, you kind of don't get freedom. You kind of don't get the ability as an editor to fight with DC who are publishing your comic. You can't say, I need to have this condom on the cover of my comic book because I want to promote safe, you know what I mean? I want to show safe this. You know what I mean? That's what I mean. You know what I mean? Then they got in a fight. That was the last comic. That was the last straw. That wasn't even bringing that much money. Like, yeah, they were expendable, unfortunately. Then the television show comes. And when the TV show exists, it brought in a lot of fans. I'm going to now shift over to a YouTube channel, which is called Here it is. DC Hates and Disrespects Static Shock. This is from M Enterprises. And let's hear what you have to say about the Static Shock TV show, which we know started and went 4 seasons. And let's see some of the work you did earlier today. This video is fresh. You just posted it. Go ahead.
Despite all of the show's success, Static Shock would be canceled after 4 seasons, primarily because of low merchandise sales. Due to the costs of Western animation at the time, the only way for a show to make profit was via revenue from toys, clothing, and other typical merchandise tied to a hit series. Yeah. Static Shock was unable to grab the interest of a lot of toy companies and other merchandise distributors.
Well, if it's a cartoon, we got to get a toy.
Hold on a second. Before we get to Phil Lamar, the voice of Static Shock. He didn't say that the fans weren't buying enough toys. It says that the stores weren't bought on these toys. That's worth noting. And let's get to some people who jumped in. Hello. Why are there 2 chills on the screen? Kagebunshin no Jutsu. What up, Rosales Comics? I seen that episode of the Justice League. It was awesome. Yeah, Dot. check your damn DMs, bro. You're supposed to be here. I DM'd you 2 hours ago. If you can join, if you're able to, I'm just gonna tweet you the link right now. Okay, back to Phil Lamar.
So they went to the toy company and brought the character designs and the premise and everything, and the toy company said, "Nah, we don't really see a market for a character like that." But we all know exactly what they meant. That decision to not have merch was one of the reasons that after 4 seasons of being the top rated show on that Saturday morning network,
Kids WB. And by the way, I'm watching Blurred's Eye View. They're the ones behind this content right here.
Static Shock got canceled because it wasn't making them no extra money.
No, you get your goddamn ass out of here.
And there it is, not even 5 seconds.
Okay, Dot, you're in here. Dot, I'm just going through the story of Static and where we were with the comic books, how they came to an ending, how the TV show was hot and popular, how that came to an ending, and I'm telling the story of Static. You're here for the next point of the story. It's DC fandom. Take me back to 2021. Where were you watching DC fandom for the next little piece of Static Shock, surprising Static Shock news?
I mean, the last time we got anything was at an animated movie that was supposed to be like it's supposed to be a like a movie just compiled of all the milestone characters all in one. I did not understand how that was going to work. I think it would have been cool. I think it was just like you should do like one at a time. Do Static first or do Icon. Honestly, just do Static first and then introduce them to Static, and then you do your team up movie. But seemed like a cool idea. I was just ambitious because I was like, all right, man, milestone, get out something. Just put out something. Give us something.
It felt so promising when we had that, but like that was it. And we had like little glimmers of hope when it came to Static Shock, or Static, I should call it, because Static Shock's not really his real name. But we had like he was in Young Justice, and that lasted for like a couple of episodes here and there. He was minor of a character.
They honestly wasted him in Young Justice. He was a character that kind of did deserve more simply because he did have a TV show that, kind of spoke for itself. I'm not saying he's the most important DC character. No. But I'll give another example. Look at Punisher, right? Out of all the Marvel characters, Punisher has gotten more products, movies, and TV shows than most Marvel characters. Hell, Luke Cage got one. What's one? Sentry. Sentry hasn't even got a movie yet. He's appeared in a movie. But I would probably put out a Punisher content before I put out Sentry content, just because I know Punisher is safe to do, and if I want to get back in people's good graces, just just play it safe with Punisher. I don't know, somehow introduce Sentry through Punisher. Would it make sense? But hey, who knows?
We had so many chances to treat Static the way at least Punisher gets treated from Marvel, where we had movies even before the John Bernthal Punisher, we had like other people playing him. I think
Punisher in the 90s. I mean, people don't really remember it, but with that actor, the actor from Rocky, the actor from Rocky that beat up Creed,
Dolph Lundgren.
Yeah,
that would be the guy. Actually, that was the guy I had in my head until you said the actor from Rocky, and I'm like, did I get it wrong? Yeah, you're right.
I was trying to remember it. Like I said, I barely remember it.
I didn't even watch the movie. I know it exists, but I didn't see it. But like, I want Static to be treated like that, and we should have like years and years of comic books. Like if DC would have just gave it a chance, I want to see more stuff. I want to see like this milestone thing that I showed you guys earlier about when we were talking about the age of Static and how he gets older. Like, why not? This guy should be at this age. This guy should be a lot more older, and we should be like treating him the way Peter Parker gets treated.
Where I like the show, and I think this is where the show, for example, the show took a turn in like season 2. I think when they gave him a slightly new suit, they updated the colors and just gave him, the black shirt, which blended better. And this is what I think this really helps sell your toys. In the Incredible Hulk movie, when that first came out, I remember buying those toys, and they had toys for the movie that weren't even in the movie. So what you have to do is, and mind you, toy sales are just as important. I wouldn't say they're as important today because kids don't play with toys as much, but toys, you know, people still play with toys. People, you have still
Collectors
those that collect toys, but they have to start doing variety toys, like toys for stuff in the product that's not even in it, like in the Justice League animated toys. Superman probably had toys for stuff that didn't even happen in the show yet. He probably had a toy suit that was from a comic, but not from the Justice League show.
And there's nothing wrong with that. And there's nothing grimy or evil about it. Kids want to play, or the people who use these, they want to configurize and make different. So why not add attachments and different versions for the consumer? I don't feel like that's like false advertised. Why'd you laugh at me?
Oh no, I caught. Sorry about that. No, you good.
But like, yeah, like anyways, that was my point basically. Just we're not doing anything greedy by changing it up. Nah, what's greedy is that it costs $3 to create the toy in China, and then by the time you get to selling it, it's like for $30 or $40. That's crazy. But it's not. It's not. I mean, after the prices, there's nothing.
That's that greed.
It's not that greedy after the outside of the prices. What was your favorite comic book, or rather, not comic, TV show episode from the Static Shock?
I would say my favorite episode was probably the episode where, I mean, Virgil did get his powers, obviously the origin episode, but the episode where his dad found out his identity, mainly because the episodes after that, they kind of followed up on it, but it was near the tail end of season 3. Because Static is one of those shows that kind of ended on a note where it's like, okay, you can end it here, but then it's like, dang, this isn't this for like a real ending.
No, it wasn't even supposed to.
But it ended, it ended where you could move on, but it's like, dang, it's more to be desired. But they kind of defeated Ebon at the final season, so it's like, who else can they do at this point?
They touched on everything in that show when it came to like homelessness and some of the concepts in here were like above quality.
They had enough variety of stuff to talk about that was still kid friendly, stuff that you can generally just talk about that kids should also be aware of, like homelessness. That's something you shouldn't ever hide from your children. Every child is going to come across a homeless person. That's something you can't hide. You need to explain that, and stuff like Static, can explain that. Now, there's some things that it covered that kids probably shouldn't get into, but hey, it did a better job than I would say the Batman show, Superman show at the time, and many more when it came to life lessons that children know about. Hell, even the gun violence episode, that was good. It was gun violence and bullying tackled together all in one.
It was. I remember the episode where Rubber Band Man, whatever his name was, Ebon's brother.
Couldn't read. Oh wait, you were talking about that episode where he was struggling reading because he was dyslexic?
The dyslexic episode. I wasn't even talking about that one, but yeah, that was a good lesson there. But I was talking about the episode where they're the brothers, and Ebon was faking as the rubber band dude when he was trying to be a hero now. Like, he was done with his villainous ways. And why Ebon is putting on my suit? Why is Ebon faking my powers? Because he could do that with the little shadow thing. Yeah. And Ebon kind of like ruined his reputation. And it showed you like, yo, these are family, but people in your own family are going to use you against you. And it was a redemption arc. Like, they were sophisticated with some of the stories that they were telling.
Wait, they was related in the show, Rubber Band Man and Ebon?
Yeah, they were brother.
Oh, shit. I need to rewatch that again because that's some interesting stuff.
Yeah, I mean, that was an episode, and you could rewatch it if only Max hadn't removed it from streaming. Maybe they'll bring it back on Juneteenth.
Hey, I'll say this though, because Gunn did say he did have interest in the milestone characters, which I did like that he brought up because he's one of the first DC directors I've seen that even mentioned.
And if he's mentioning the milestone characters, he's not talking about Icon or Rocket. He's talking about Static.
Static, yeah. Hopefully, when he does introduce Static, well, first I think the villain of the first. I have to keep it simple. Heat wave, heat stroke, whatever his name was.
Hot
streak. Man, his name could be Heat Wave, Heat Stroke. Man, it's something. But like, he should definitely play it safe and just make Ebon the villain. Yeah. Like, definitely give that character some representation. We need a villainous brother like that.
I want to make sure I got the name of the character right. Keep mentioning episodes.
And another episode that I would say hit for me.
Francis Stone.
No. Let me change that. You guys, I think my favorite episode was the one with Lil Bow Wow or Romeo, whatever his name.
Romeo.
Little Romeo. It wasn't that it was a cute little episode. It was just a fun little episode, crossover with your childhood. Because if y'all remember growing up with Nickelodeon and stuff, Little Romeo, Nick Cannon, like all that stuff. Long people who grew up during that time will understand that stuff.
His name is Francis Stone. It's Hot Streak, and this character is white in this version, but originally he wasn't. They race swapped him for the TV show, and I guess they kept it consistent, which I'm fine with him having a white villain. Wait, hold on, pause, time out. Hold on, let me get the thought out. I'm never okay with race swapping, okay? So I shouldn't say I'm fine with, but I can understand why it's a black IP. You don't want black fighting black all the time. I can see why you would make the change. I'm still all in favor of keeping everyone the way they were originally created. If Static needs a white villain, create a white villain. All right, let me just.
Yeah, it just depends how you direct it. Like if you were to direct a black on black characters fighting, and like let's say Virgil says, he doesn't do that internalized racism stuff, self-hatred, right? And Virgil, when he's fighting Hotshot and he's black, and he go like, "Oh, you dirty, I'ma lock you up." You're one of those worthless N-words and stuff. Then that's a problematic, because it's like, all right, Static, we get it, but you ain't got to go that hard on him because you're supposed to be the hero in this. You're supposed to be the one that's something Tobias from Black Lightning would say. But he's a villain though. So I understand Tobias from Black Lightning saying that he's a villain. He's going to say something like that, but I understand why he says it, because he was albino. He was treated, less than human by his father, who obviously looks black. Albino people are black. They just got a skin pigmentation.
We need a better word than black. That's why black is such a flawed word, because I know what you mean, but it doesn't sound right.
But if that's the only way a black on black altercation would be an issue, is if like both of the black people are like downing each other because they black while doing so. It's no different than a black police officer that forgets, like, bro, you're black too. Like, why are you? What's that? You remember in what's the movie? Boys in the Hood. Remember the black cop?
Oh, him. Yep.
Like that, just like that. If it was like that, but mine just like, bro, you're supposed to be looking out for us and protecting us.
Black police showing out for the white cop.
Right. Is they see that?
Shout out to Richie's dad. That was a good episode. There was an episode with Shaq, and they had all these NBA All-Stars joining. I like that. I like the theme song too. Static.
I'm not gonna lie, Joe. I think they missed an opportunity with having Richie's dad in more episodes after he dealt with his little racism. Like him, Richie and Virgil's dad should have like definitely been like this show. This show has so many opportunities that it still missed out on. But it's still
it's bad enough I got to see them out at work. Now I got one in my own home. They were slick with it then. In this comic, they have Richie's dad popping up in it in the anthology celebration, and he's like, supper's downstairs, supper's ready, and he says, let me read those words exactly. He says, "Supper's at 6. If you're still here, Virgil, I suppose we'll feed you."
Damn, that nigga racist. Oh.
Yeah. And they're like, and Richie was like, "Nah, let's not eat here. Like, we gotta go. Like, I don't want to be here anymore."
Wait, what year was this comic?
This was the 30th anniversary, so 1993, 2021, 23.
2023. Okay.
Yeah, it was a anniversary issue, but it's not really canon. Anyways, let's get back to the presentation. How much more time you got with me, K-Dot? Because I got more videos to show to catch people to speed.
I'll give you 5 more minutes. I got 5 more minutes to spare for you.
Yes. All right, let's go.
I keep hearing this aspect that you really want to bring the media back into Milestone Media, right? Can you talk to us about some of those potential projects that might be existing outside of the comic book realm?
They're not might. They're real.
Existing.
They're happening.
This from that documentary we watched.
Projects in development right now. The script.
Did you say something?
Is this from that documentary we watched?
This is from this is the 2021 DC Fandom.
Oh, presentation. Okay.
Yeah, it's pretty recent. So he's like, "Yeah, we got things cooking." And these guys are Reginald Hudlin and Dennis Cowan, two key members of Milestone's beginning and their origins, and they even matter to this day when it comes to the Milestone comics. But let's go. I'll rewind in 5 seconds. Go.
They're happening. We've got 2 movie projects in development right now. The script that Randy McKinnon is writing for the live-action feature film version of Static is, he's hard at work right now. We're going to be getting that soon. So live action Static Shock is a real thing that's in the works. You know, Warner Brothers is excited about it. We're excited about it.
Michael B.
So he mentioned Randy McKinnon's doing the screenwriting. If I go to Randy McKinnon's Instagram page, I'm very pleased to report to you that this March 26th post that he's got is still up. And it's a link to an article. He says that the ancestors are staying busy over here. So humbled to join the DC Comics family to bring this timely and classic universe to life with Warner Brothers and my co-conspirators, Reginald Hudlin, Michael B. Jordan, and the Outlier Society family. Let me just click on who that is. Who's the Outlier Society? I guess it's Michael B. Jordan's like production studio, I guess. So that, but the you know, I know we're all laughing at how ridiculous how long it's been, and it's not happening. He still has his post up. He did not delete it from 2021. So that's promising. That's all I'm saying.
I'm not gonna lie, Chill. Some of these black entertainers taking too long to produce stuff.
We also know that there was a shift. You know, Walter Hamada and WB, who they just gave thanks to.
Oh no, I know the shift.
They're not there no more.
Yeah, I mean, we would have for sure got this if Walter Hamada and them was still under control. It would have been disconnected and not connected, nothing. Yeah. But it still would have came out.
Which is why I want to. Sorry to interrupt you. Keep going.
I think it's best to just, you know, let James. Let's just see what James is gonna do. I mean, he's already promising us representation with Mr. Terrific. He claimed, hey, he's gonna be one of the most important characters of that Superman movie, one of the leads. So if he does a good job with Mr. Terrific and he puts him on, he's on point, we're gonna be good for Static and other characters we need. When are we going to get Static? I don't know, but I don't know. We might be getting them sooner than we think because the Justice League team seem like they're going to be kind of young.
Okay, Mr. Terrific's actor is 45. Eddie Gathegi is too old. I don't care what they do with him. He's a supporting character, and that's how I'll treat him. But you know, don't ruin him, James Gunn. But I'm not looking at that with promise. I'm looking towards Virgil Hawkins, and I do want James Gunn to do it. So I'm okay with them pushing it back a little further than what would have happened. Probably would have been out by now if WB never had what David Zaslav did, which says Hamada out, DC Studios in, James Gunn you're in charge, and James Gunn's got to put in priority the things he cares about, like Sergeant Rock and Clayface.
If anything, this stuff he's probably gonna show up in like chapter 2 or whatever. I mean, I don't know. He might show up through a TV show because they got a Starfire TV show that's supposedly in production, a Green Lantern TV show for Jessica Drew. Hopefully it's not going to be no animated product we get first. Live action this time. No animated product.
So Hudlin and Cowan tell us there's 2 projects. Let's keep listening. What's the second?
B. Jordan's excited about it.
Michael B. Jordan's producing the movie with us. Here's the new announcement that no one knows yet. This is fandom breaking news, which is the first Milestone animated feature film is now in the works. You know, we just hired an amazing writer. And if you guys have been reading Hardware, you know how dope he is as a writer.
Brandon Thomas.
You forgot his name. You forgot Brandon Thomas's name, and you jumped over and you looked to Dennis Cowan for the name. But anyways, Brandon Thomas, I'll get to that in a second.
Brandon's so dope that they forgot his name. I don't want nothing from Brandon.
Has been hired to write our screenplay for our animated feature, and in conjunction with Warner Brothers. And we're very excited about that. That's going to be a massive project. With more than one character.
Yeah.
This is going to be the thing that Milestone fans have been really dreaming about for a long time. And we're happy to give it to them finally. So, you know, not only are we doing live action, we're doing animation.
Yeah.
And we're bringing it. So,
yeah. So, Compendium.
And then he starts selling the book, the Compendium book. I am going to get rid of that. And I'm going to jump over to the Instagram page of Brandon Thomas now. And when you look at his stuff, Brandon Thomas, let's go to 2021. It was announced. This is July of 2020. Let me find something from 2021. Let me find something from 2021. I don't see anything.
Did he write on Lovecraft Country?
I guess he wrote season 1.
Oh, no, he just says he likes it.
He just said he likes it? Okay.
Yeah.
November 11, 2020. Let me find something from... No, he doesn't post anything
of his
regarding the Static. So let's get rid of that. Let's go to see what we do have, which is a Hollywood Reporter article. Static Shock movie enlists safety writer Randy McKinnon. That's the first guy. That guy does have his Instagram up. So not the animated project. There's nothing there from Brandon Thomas. He's not promoting it or touting it. But from the live action, that article, this is the article. Let's get into reading. Hello to Omnipo B. What's up, Showmonger? I didn't know Dennis Cowan was black. I don't know why you're surprised. The Milestone creator? If you knew him to know who he was, you know. Oh, now you know. So let's keep reading this thing. Randy McKinnon, who wrote Disney Plus's football drama Safety, has been tapped to pen WB's new Static Shock. Michael B. Jordan is producing the feature adaptation of the cult hero via Outlier Society production. Shingle along with Reginald Hudlin, who directed Safety. By the way, Reginald Hudlin also did #1 on the call sheet. You guys can see that on your Apple. The project centers on Static, who first appeared in 1993's issue 1, a now defunct company founded by black writers and artists to help make comics a more inclusive space. A decade later, the hero was revived by Static Shock animated series centering on Virgil Hawkins, a teenager who transforms into a superhero. He gains electromagnetic powers after being exposed to strange gas. The series was noteworthy for being the rare animated show to be headlined by a black character. Why did they put black in capital letters? Is that correct? Should they have done that? No, maybe it is correct. The hero made
let people know it was a black production.
They're using the word black as if like that's the category of race. So if it was Arab, I could see them using a capital A for that too. The hero made his way to the mainstream DC Comics universe in 2008. The project has an urgency and agency surrounding it. Thanks to its heavy-hitting producers, there is no urgency, who have stated an intention to build a cinematic universe centered around black superheroes. McKinnon was a staff writer on Netflix's horror series Chambers that starred Uma Thurman, and it was Safety that he earned his first feature credit. Randy McKinnon tapped into his college pigskin past to tell the true story of Clemson University freshman football, blah, 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 blah. Okay. McKinnon is also the creator and executive producer of the sports thriller Wild Rabbit, set up at Hulu. Basically, they're just telling us it's coming. This is the name of the guy. This is what he's been able to work on. Static Shock is going to come into fruition. And we didn't get any of that. Before you have to go, Dot, how disappointed are you that we didn't get it? You kind of already said so, but just answer it again. How disappointed are you?
I'm not too disappointed because, like I said, the DCEU was dead since Justice League 2017 made its debut. I mean, it was already dead since BVS, but sure, it could have came out, could have been good. You know, like the Batman came out during the time of the DCEU, wasn't connected. It was good, but you know, it still had too much bad baggage at that time, and it also affected movies that had nothing to do with that universe. So yeah, I think it's good that we're waiting until we're rebooting, starting fresh. May not take place in the main DCU, but is going to come out probably during a better time when reception will be better with DC
and Marvel, because we have to understand that the general audience, they're feeling the superhero like enthusiasm at the same time, whether it's Marvel or DC. When Marvel is hitting on all cylinders, when there's an X-Men movie that just did great, people are still feeling a high off of Secret Wars. So I'm talking 2029. That would be a good time to have Static in the movie theaters. And that's 4 years from now. And some people are not going to be alive 4 years from now. It's unfortunate, but for the success of the franchise, it's necessary. It's waiting time.
But there's also no need to rush it now because, like I said, I don't think Avengers, Secret Wars, and Doomsday will be as good as Infinity War Endgame, but you wouldn't want to release nothing around those products, especially if you don't have another team-up movie to compete. I'm sorry.
Well, when we see what Thunderbolts is performing like, and we think about Fantastic Four's biggest gross was $300 million back in 2005, like we're not expecting a happy news story. Let me pull up Thunderbolts.
I'm not gonna lie. I think Thunderbolts might do the Batman numbers, but it's definitely gonna beat Brave New World.
Nope, I won't because it's only at 271 right now. This first weekend was 74 million. The second weekend dropped by 56%, only 32 million. The Batman? Are you kidding me? The Batman.
I mean, the Batman. Well, yeah. What did it do opening weekend?
Way more. It opened to 134 million.
What was the budget again?
The budget was probably 150. And then the second weekend, the Batman dropped to 66 million. And the third weekend is finally when it did what Thunderbolts did on its second weekend. Third weekend, it grossed 36 million.
Thunderbolts is gonna pretend. I don't know. I mean, I haven't seen it, so I don't know. But I highly doubt it's gonna. It's definitely gonna make more than Brave New World, but that's probably it. Probably like 600, 700 million. I don't know. It might hit $1 billion. Who knows?
The Batman budget was either 185 to 200 million.
Okay.
Yeah, just like Thunderbolts. So that's a dud. And Fantastic Four was probably not going to be profitable. Who knows, bro? Actually, I shouldn't say that.
I'm not gonna lie. I think Fantastic Four.
I don't want to do a Marvel review.
It might be the only profitable Marvel movie for this year, though.
I want to get back to the Static Shock and everything we're talking about when it comes to DC, though. We want it to come out at a profitable time. Is the only point I'm making. I know the deceased brother was Dwayne McDuffie. Was Cohen the co-creator of Static? No, I don't think Cohen was Dennis Cowan. I mean, was a co-creator, like he wrote or was an artist of the book. I don't think so. So we come to the last thing to talk about is that Static has comic books. He's got the Static Shock, the Return comic books. He's got 6 of them from like the Milestone Returns era. He's got 6 issues. They called it season 1. And then the next year, they gave you a team-up comic book. You see, Static Shock and Anansi had a team-up. And this dude, Chillmonger, covered it. It's on the home page of my channel. So if you haven't seen it, you will love it. Right-click on my little name down there and watch that video. Go leave this stream. I'm telling you, it's so much better than this stream. And watch the video. Static and Anansi. And then he appeared in the Shadows of Dakota, where they had Ebon in it. So that if you want to get your Static Shock fill of this character, you got 6 issues of that comic book, The Shadows of Dakota. And when you're done with Shadows of Dakota, 7 issues, not 6. When you're done with Shadows of Dakota, that's when you jump over to the Milestone Returns. What do you call this thing? Shadow Cabinet, where Static is featured heavily in it. Little team up action there if you want to see them. And you can even see interviews. I would recommend going to Black Comic Lords.
Chill. I got to get ready to bounce out. But thanks for having me up for this limited time. I'll be heading to work, guys. Go support Static. And if anyone watched the TV show and you read the original Static comic, give the costume a chance, please. Give the costume a chance. But I'm about to head out. Thanks for having me up, Chill.
Appreciate you. Everyone sub up SSJ K. Sanctum. The Culture Made channel says that I say this a lot nowadays, but the Batman is overhyped. It is what it is, bro. I don't really have a strong opinion, bro. It's some people liked it, some people didn't like it. Saying something's overhyped it's an issue of like valuing other people's opinions too much. So Shadow Cabinet was the latest thing that came out from DC. These things sold horribly. There were 4 issues that came out of it, and it might have matched that 4,000 units sold. It might have just matched. I can't tell you that now because we don't keep track of the numbers of comic books that get sold to shops the way that we used to have the ability to do so. So I can't tell you that. But it's been maybe 5 months since that last comic book came out from Shadow Cabinet, and Milestone right now is struggling. If they put something out, it'll have to be written by Dennis Cowan himself, and he would have to be the artist of it because I don't think they can afford, finding Joe Ridge. What's his name? Joe Illidge. I don't think they can afford finding someone, hiring him, paying this guy money to bring in dollars. They are not doing a good job of promoting their comic books at all. They're stinking it up, and they're struggling as a company. A movie like what John Boyega is, I'm telling you, knows about, that John Boyega is gonna have some sort of role in, or he has definitely got inside knowledge on when it comes to the James Gunn DCU and his usage of static. The movie will be the boost, that extra couple thousand for comic book sales. It'll be the costumes, cosplays are gonna go like crazy. Halloween costumes galore. A movie, especially with Michael B. Jordan, who just doesn't fail at the box office anymore. A movie is going to be what's going to bring us to the promised land. It's necessary for this franchise. Without it, I don't know. I said something about Michael B. Jordan and succeeding at the box office. When Sinners came out, its first weekend grossed 48 million, and the second weekend was 45 million. There was barely a drop. Then it was 33 million, and then it was only 22 million. I guess 11 million will be next week. You got no business grossing $22 million on your fourth weekend. Like, this is still earning money. Worldwide, it has grossed 284. It is a profitable movie, no matter how you slice and dice numbers. Everything that they make now is basically is earning profit, is just cherry on the sundae. This movie is gonna hit TV shows, not TV shows, but TV channels. You could be able to buy it digitally, order it on pay-per-view, in flight. You could stream it later on, and I hope they can delay how long it goes to streaming. But Michael B. Jordan is an A-list star. And I want what's best for the Static character. Make Michael B. Jordan the father. Yeah, you may think he's too young right now. In 3-4 years, you won't think that anymore. This guy could play the dad of Virgil Hawkins. And we can superstar stud that cast up, and we got a great franchise's core. And then you just need the good comic, you need the good writer. Randy McKinnon is the writer. That's where Static is. That's the state of Static. We appreciate him. Me and SSJ K. Sanctum, we've been chit-chatting about Static over the years since I've known him, when the year that we met, maybe 6 years ago. For the last 6 years, maybe 7 years, we've been chatting with each other about this comic book character, about our love for him, about our fandom of him, childhood memories. We just gave you that, a little bit of that right now. We're such fans of Static and want him to grow and be a hit. I like to end my YouTube videos on something woke, but I think that entire stream that I just did was very woke. So nothing to end. There's no lesson at the end of the day, okay? Okay. One more. Grass Randolph says it hits max in 90 days. Should be longer than 90 days. 90 days is not a short period of time. 3 months is nothing. 3 months is, there's enough people who might go to say, I can watch Sinners. Nah, it's going to be on streaming in like a couple weeks now. There are people saying that today, even though it's only been in the movie theaters for 24 days. There people are going, in 2 months it'll be on streaming. So they should not. 90 days is a short window. Not the dad. Okay, that's your opinion. I think you need a good cast member. And if Michael B. Jordan isn't the dad, what is he? The director? I would like to see that, bro. He directed Creed 3 pretty fine. See what he's got. Thank you for coming to this late night stream. Appreciate all who are here. Chill out.